Hello, Biblionauts. This video is very much a question mark because the other day I was making a video. I was in a live with Greg and Alan from Another Bibliophile Reads and Big Hard Books and Classics, respectively. And I came up and I was asking them about BookTube events that are going on and which ones are not. I have been in BookTube for a while, but I haven't. I mean, for a while. It's gonna be a year in a couple of months, but I haven't participated in many events, and I also didn't know and don't know probably all the events that are going on. So I felt like I couldn't potentially come up with my own events because someone else might be doing it, and then I'd be just copying them or something. The first two events I thought of doing myself were an event on just philosophy, the reading of philosophy for a whole month. But I feel like that is something that I'm going to be doing anyways, and it's also quite related to nonfiction, so I can kind of fit it on the nonfiction November event. And the other one was reading classics, which is something that most people does already. There is Victorian Booktober, for example. And I felt like that was also not original enough and not necessarily something that someone would want to dedicate themselves for a specific month of the year because they're already doing or they don't do, and so on and so forth. So those were my two first ideas of coming up with a BookTube challenge or BookTube event. But then I kept thinking about it. Another one that came to mind, and that was from watching Michael K. Vaughan's videos, was a graphic novel month. That would be nice. Or just graphic novels in general, or anime, anything that has to do with the blending of the pictorial world and the graphic world. But again, that's something that I'm not very well versed on, and I think some other people could do a much better job at that. So I kept thinking and thinking and thinking, and I am I actually would like to start an event or do some sort of challenge for 2024. And finally I came up with two ideas, and they both seem fine to me. But because this would be an event or a challenge, it's all based on whether or not people would join. So I am wondering if any of you would be interested in one of these two ideas. One would be the Read What You Hate challenge, and this would be probably a week or a month a year that is dedicated to at least reading one book, one author, or one genre that you consider to hate. There is two things to gain from that. One is that you might discover that you don't hate him or hate the genre or hate the book after all, and learn to love something you hated. And the other one is that there is a very specific kind of pleasure that comes from just hating something with passion. And I also want to see people share the passion, how passionately they hate certain books. I feel like there is two kinds of videos that I read that lead me to read books the most. The one is people talking about their favorite books. That definitely makes me want to read the books that they are talking about. But the other one is people talking about the books that they hate. I can't help it but want to read that book when they hate it with passion. So maybe not a month, but a challenge for a week at some point in 2024. Read What You Hate challenge. That sounded good to me. But again, I want to know if any of you would be up for that. If you think it's a good idea, if it already exists, just give me some feedback on that. The other is I don't know how to call this, but this would be an event probably for a month. I don't know which month as well, because I don't know how crowded each month is, if there is any available slot. But it would be something like the Read Weird Books month event. Weird reading experiences. I even thought of calling it the Green Dog month, because there is an expression in the Spanish language called perro verde. When someone is very strange, you call them they are a perro verde, a green dog. So the Green Dog month, or whatever I come up with, would be basically a month dedicated to reading books that are strange, not books even, just to strange reading experiences. let it be, I don't know, for example, Greg was talking to me about Dahlgren, which is supposed to be a very strange book to read with overlapped text that reminded me of House of Leaves. That's another strange book. But also just reading other things, reading newspaper columns or reading book reviews or reading sharing things that we don't normally read, that are not normally in our reading lists, and that don't necessarily they do belong to BookTube because they are reading experiences and we can enjoy them, but that we would not intuitively call see them as something that you sort of like sit down an afternoon and read. I was thinking of like putting down a chart from some sea, some port that I know, and maybe like reading the chart, reading the different navigational signs and why the chart is good or not, and what I like about the chart. That's just an example of how random it could be. It's about reading, but on the very edge of what we consider reading and kind of like making us question as well, like how far can we take a book before it becomes something else. It's just a month to reading at least one work of literature that challenges our conceptions of normality, of what is supposed to be a book, what is not supposed to be a book, what is supposed to be literature, what is not supposed to be literature, and just discovering weird books that might still be very good. I think we all enjoy it. I think when something completely breaks all of our sort of like previous notions of what we were supposed to be expecting and getting, and yet it's still enjoyable. So those are my 2 ideas for 2024. And I'd like to know which one you like more. If they already exist, I'd love to join for whoever is doing them. And just send information this way. I want to know what you think about that. Is the year already too crowded for more BookTube events? Isn't it? Yeah. I hope to hear your comments on the other side.